Hello everybody, it's vanburman here. Welcome back to another video, and today we're going to be reviewing Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. The audio quality for my real life shots, if you like, might be a little bit different because helmets and things. So yes, the creative choices that I make sometimes for reasons. Right, so first of all, I guess worth noting, although unsurprisingly, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is a sequel to the 7-year-old Kingdom Come Deliverance the First. And yeah, it carries on with the same characters, themes, overarching story points. If you've not played the first one, it has been out a good while. So, a game that I, by the way, fully recommend. And I don't know if it's necessarily got better since launch, but there is a few DLCs and stuff which I've played a couple of them, and they're okay. And I'm sure that the DLCs for the new game will also be okay as well. It's not the main event, they're different. You have to kind of almost see the Kingdom Come games as a bit more of an experience as well as a game. It's kind of like the medieval life simulator in a way. Certain bits are. The pacing is very interesting in the first game. So yeah, just worth noting. I would definitely go and play that. I had a really good time with Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, and if you want my TLDR, I think it's an improvement on the first one. And that's all you need to know, really. I don't need to do any of the rest of this. I don't need to show you the gameplay or anything else. It looks like a slightly upgraded version. Oh no, an upgraded version of the first game. Lots of the same mechanics, inventory system, a lot of stuff will feel very, very familiar. So if you liked the first game, I would hazard that you will really like the second game. And it's, yeah, fleshed out in lots of ways and much the same in lots of ways as well. I only recently completed the first Kingdom Come Deliverance at the end of 2024, start of 2025, can't remember the exact time now, because I only got like about halfway through when it first came out, and then went and revisited it, finished it, and had a really good time actually, and rated it quite highly overall. But I then kind of needed that break from the first Kingdom Come Deliverance before going into playing something like Black Myth Wukong, which was good. I mean, well, I needed the break before going to the second one, but I played Black Myth in the in-between, which was a good change of pace. But all that to be said, I don't feel that same level of fatigue, if you like, from the first game to the second game. Now, maybe that's because I was trying to finish the first one, and it just kept going on and on, you know, story-wise, and kind of like teasing that you're getting to the end, and then a lot more kind of happens. So went in with a little bit of a different mentality this time round, and I much more thoroughly enjoyed the experience of Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 in terms of definitely the main story. Not that the first game doesn't have its moments, but yeah, I was a bit dubious as to whether they would be able to recreate that in the second game, and actually they've done, in my opinion, even better. But having said all of that, I'm going to go through some gameplay, and I'll talk to you a little bit about how the game works from a kind of holistic point of view, so not assuming that you have played the first one, even though it is very much recommended, not required though. I feel as though if you were to do like, because it kind of introduces the story to you as you go through, but if you were to have a kind of retrospective on the first game, which I don't know if this game has or not, I don't know, anyway, regardless, then you know you could definitely get up to speed, and it kind of starts you out from nothing anyway. I don't suppose that's much of a spoiler. Really happens in the first early portion of the game, the tutorial section. So I'll leave you with that. And in the fashion of Kingdom Come Deliverance, this is my hunting knife. So let's go out and hunt ourselves. Although I don't do hunting with it, but it's like the same style and length as the hunting knives in the game. Which, by the way, hunting is much better. Anyway, let's hunt ourselves a good review. Let's get to it. So I've decided to take a little bit of a different stance to normal for these longer form reviews. This one is going to be a lot shorter, but I'm going to have some more like unedited bits, or not unedited, but unspoken over bits So the footage here is just from the very early part of the game, where it sort of teaches you all the mechanics again and gets you like back on your feet, but in a way starts you with nothing. So if you freshly come out of the first game, gives you a reason to not have any equipment, not have any skills, and have to like reteach yourself all of the basics, fundamentals, that kind of thing, which, you know, is the right way to go through things. But if you were hoping for some continuity or maybe slight advantage coming into this game, you are absolutely definitely starting from the ground up once again. But yeah, whether the story narrative reasons are fully there for it, I will leave up to you. The bits that we have in this video to show you like the unedited, more raw gameplay bits are mainly around the combat. So we got combat against one enemy, combat against multiple enemies a couple of times as well. And I think that that's probably one of the things that Kingdom Come Deliverance in both iterations does, number 1 and number 2, does really well, and also does really poorly, actually. Maybe not really poorly, not as well as it could do, I think is probably the way I would put it. And that's mainly due to the combat system. It's very focused for that 1v1 dueling, basically. And I know they added in the Ratai tournament in the first game as an additional thing later on. But this one also has the Kuttenberg tournaments as well. So, and there's a bit of a storyline around it as well. So, you know, it does kind of lean itself more into that, you know, duel kind of stance versus stance, you know, single combatant versus single combatant. And that's where it works really well, potentially. I did get to a point, though, where I was, well, just overpowered, I guess. I'd sort of maxed out my swords and got all of the strike combos and all that kind of thing, and really didn't struggle with anybody at all. There's only one fight in particular that was a little bit of a struggle, and I had to do a few times, but you are put at a massive disadvantage for that anyway. Like, you don't have any armor, you have a very weak weapon against someone with armor and a very powerful weapon. So, yeah, the rest of it relatively, apart from very early game, became quite trivial towards the end in terms of the combat. So, if you do really focus on, particularly on swords and long swords or one-handed swords, you will, yeah, you know, as soon as you got something that's more powerful, you will absolutely get stuck in that particular, stuck with it being too easy, I mean. So the bit where it doesn't do so well is when you're fighting multiple enemies. And that's because basically you just get a bit ganged up on. The combat system isn't fluid enough for you to, not necessarily easily or more difficultly, be able to defend from certain angles. You kind of have to almost guess when there's 3 or 4 people around you as to how you're going to get out of the combat. Now, I guess that's fine. Realistically, if you're, you know, whether you're Henry or not, you are going to struggle against multiple enemies, and you would do in this particular, you know, situation that he finds himself, or whatever situation he finds himself in. In terms of for a game, though, it probably, you know, feels a little bit clunky with like the lock-on system and the directionality, the blocking, the master strike element. All of that is just fully lends itself to 1v1 combat. And as soon as you break away from that, even with when you have a group of people, when it's 3v3 or whatever out in the world, they kind of similarly go the same, which you will see later on. There's also some really good, so I'm going to move on from that now. But yeah, ultimately, you know, that is something that you have to get through if you want to play the game. And you know, I sort of more relished the challenges of where I was sort of in that pinch period of the 1v1 kind of setting, and tried to use different weapons that I wasn't proficient with and that kind of thing. The storytelling in this is really good. I know that for the first Kingdom Come Deliverance, I put up the storyline about the, what was the joke? Was it about a sheep? Can't remember. Anyway, yes, Henry getting drunken antics. This one that I've put in is not like quite as funny, I guess, but it just goes to show, you know, the writing being really good, the voice acting being really good, and the action also following suit. And that does show a bit of a skirmish as well, so you get to see how the combat works, and maybe you'll think I'm being a bit nitpicky, I don't know. But
yeah, we're going to have that in there. All of the like mini games, I guess I'd call them, are still in there. So the alchemy bit is, which works fine. You have to do it for a few things here and there. And we also have the blacksmithing now as well, which clearly makes perfect sense, as Henry was, I guess, like an apprentice blacksmith, right? Or a blacksmith's son, and worked on Radzig's sword, for example, with him. So you actually, that forms quite a big part of the story, and you use that to sort of ply your trade as you sort of run through the story. It helps you out quite a lot in a lot of the interactions, because you're deemed as being valuable, right? Because you're able to blacksmith stuff. But yeah, the nice bit about it is that when you get to a certain point of proficiency, you can make stuff better through your blacksmithing than you can buy effectively. And I think, not that I've tried it, but I imagine you can also probably make quite a lot of money doing it that way as well, just by buying or acquiring the raw materials and then making your swords, that are a high enough quality to be able to use. So yeah, that was good. And yeah, kind of appreciated that being part of the storyline. It made sense. Maybe you could say it was a little bit of the obvious way to go, which might be true, but still, yeah, I thought it worked really well. And I didn't much like the blacksmithing to start off with, and you might watch it as we go through this video and think that it may be slightly tedious, which wouldn't be incorrect, but it gets less tedious, I think, as you go on, and particularly as you start to see the value in it as well, and you get into a bit of a rhythm with making sure it works, or in a rhythm of actually playing the minigame, because yeah, it kind of can be a bit tricky from time to time, particularly when you first start. But you will get there with it if you persevere. So it's not beyond anyone, I shouldn't imagine. And you can find unique recipes for unique items that can only be blacksmithed as well, or forged, I guess. I suppose is probably the correct way of putting it. And yeah, so there's that element that adds to it if you want to get some cool weapons. There's no option to make your own armor. So it is all weapons, horseshoes. Is there shield? No, there's not shield. Yeah, and the various plethora of weapons as well can be forged. So it's not just short swords, long swords. You can do pole arms and that kind of thing as well. There's no archery, no bowery or anything, or arrows. So it is limited, but I think they do quite a good job with it overall, to be honest, in terms of adding that into the game and bringing it in as part of the storyline. Yeah, I don't really think I have too much else to mention with the bits that are going to be shown. But yeah, see what you think, and then we'll wrap it up at the end. But I will leave it here now for the first showing, and I think I'm going to say this again at the end, but I think the conclusion is very simple. If you enjoyed the first game, chances are you really enjoy this one. All right, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you very much, and enjoy the rest of the footage.
To the task! Matilda! Fucking hell! My leg, damn it! You idiots! Yeah, that was just a warning shot. Surrender, or the next one will go straight through your guts.
So next time, will you hit the mark?
I'd rather settle it without bloodshed.
That's easy. Surrender, and none of you will be harmed. Until you hang alongside the devil, that is.
The only one surrendering will be you.
Oh, really? Rupert, bring that bastard to me. And you, arrest the others. If they resist, just kill them.
Halt! Not another step, or...
Oh, what? Are you gonna shoot at the sky again?
Listen to me carefully. If you don't surrender, we'll shoot you to pieces. We'll kill the rest.
Oh, shit!
That's not true at all.
How many?
A gross. And we have armor, hammers, and cannons.
And you're hiding in the forest with all that gear, right? Have at them! Kill those bastards!
Come on! You'll be sorry, fucker! I'm getting sick of losing! We're gonna gut you! Come on with this bastard!
You should have fucking stayed out of it.
And now you're mine! Go fuck yourself!
Let's get away with that.
Nice strike!
You won't get me.
You can't stand up to this! He doesn't know which way to turn! What now, fucker? I don't have the whole day!
You want to try me?
That won't work on me!
Fucker!
Slice him up!
Dead!
Bloody hell. I'm overheating it.
Foreign wares. Knives, rillets, axes. Come and take your pick. Tools, iron tools. Tools that won't make you a fool. Wonderful day for a wonderful purchase.
Judges' decisions, as well as the outcomes of the duels.
Das geloben wir im Namen des Vaters, des Sohnes und des Heiligen Geistes.
By God Almighty, we so swear.
All the requisites have been satisfied. Therefore, let us proceed to the first duel. Master Menhart against Lindhart, the cobbler. Forward! End of duel! Overpowered his opponent for the glory of Gutenberg! Let the duel begin! End of duel!
Hey! Alert! Alert!
What the fuck are you doing to him?
Show what you're made of!
Kurva! With me! I'll help you.
Hurry up!
What do you want?
With me! Christ! That stings! No way, I'm out.
So there you have it. It's now conclusion time from my tin hat. I don't have a coif, so it also is pressing down on my nose. I can just about see what's going on, although not particularly well. The visibility is kind of limited, which actually is one of the nice things that Kingdom Come Deliverance does. He has a very much like a helmet visor system. You can choose to have ones that go up and down, and then choose to put them in or not, and you'll take a lot less damage. The helmet that I ended up sitting on was kind of similar in aspect to the first one. My first helmet that I was wearing, where it's basically just got a nose piece, but the eyes are quite open, and it actually had very similar stats to the absolutely full-faced helmets, which kind of feels a little bit of a cop-out, but it did look pretty cool and had the mail and stuff at the bottom as well. So yeah, that was nice. I don't know how long I'm going to be able to do this outro for, so this video might actually be a little bit shorter than normal. Yes, so will there be a Kingdom Come Deliverance 3? I think no. I don't know why I opened that question, but I think the story has got itself to the point now where it can finish. It is what it is. It was a satisfying ending, and I think that there is enough to presume certain people's fates in life are very well, determined, and not that there's not space for it, I guess, for a third one. And I wouldn't be against the third one either, actually. Maybe with Henry being quite a bit older or something. That might be quite cool. But regardless, yes, I need to give it a score. So, I said it was better than the first game, and I guess just for context, I gave the first game 88 out of 100. And this game improved a lot of different aspects from the first game. And I think, for me, it's not necessarily a rarity. But it is, because I don't think it happens very often where a sequel does or is better than the first game. Usually the bones of the first game have to be good enough, and then the second one, really improves upon that in a way. I think it has to improve a certain amount anyway to warrant there to be a sequel, to be a second game. But this one goes above and beyond that. So I have given Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 9 out of 10, 90 out of 100. It is a fantastic game in its own merits, regardless of the first game. It's worthy of those extra points above. And I guess the next question is then, what does it have to do to be, better, to go up another notch? And the bits where it lets itself down, and it did in the first game as well, is kind of that multi-enemy fight thing going on. I really enjoyed the inclusion of having the sieges, and I think for the most part they actually worked quite well. But they're kind of not quite as epic and fluid as you would maybe like. It's kind of a similar situation that I have, or similar criticism I suppose that I have with something like Mount and Blade, for example, or even though I very much enjoy the sandbox element of that particular game. When we're talking about medieval warfare, right, I guess is the big thing. For one-on-one duels and everything, really good. And actually I have a bit of a strange criticism that I wouldn't normally level at such things, but because I seem to be somewhat adept at the combat from Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. I was okay at it. I was pretty good in the first game, fairly good at things like Bannerlord, War of the Roses, that kind of thing. It kind of got a little bit easy towards the end. And yeah, I think I enjoy the addition of different types of weapons and weapon classes. That was good. That was a positive. But they only really made one style particularly viable, and that was using longsword or short sword and a shield because of the Master Strike system. That gives you such a big advantage that you just don't get from any other type of weapon, because it is purely limited to one of these lovely things. Although maybe don't look too hard at this, because it is definitely not a game appropriate sword. But nevertheless, I wonder if I can get this back in with this helmet on. Oh, there we go. Just about. So yeah, I think maybe making the combat a little bit more difficult, or actually fleshing out some of the other aspects would have been really good. I thought the archery and crossbow elements were really good again still, from that point of view. With its, and just there's like a skill barrier to being able to do that. do that well, but definitely worthwhile. Lots of sneaky sections as well, which I think are actually better than the first game, to be fair. But yeah, I think overall it kind of needs to get to that kind of next level in terms of the actual gameplay of it. I think in terms of writing, voice acting, quests, storylines, everything like that is probably about as good as you would want. The production value is really high, almost like a TV series. You know, half the time it is like you're watching a TV series or a film as opposed to playing a video game. So you have to kind of want that experience as well, and it's not going to be for everyone. It's not going to be for every season of life either. But yeah, it's just worth pointing out. So yeah, you know, a few things that could be done better. You know, I think the horse-based combat is, I don't know if it was actually in the first one, I can't remember. It's definitely in this one, but I hardly ever used it because it just doesn't work particularly well. So I guess things like, I would maybe like to have seen jousting tournaments or big horseback fights, horse riding fights, I don't know what you call it, horse-mounted warfare. That would have been really cool as well, but the game always kind of shies away from doing that kind of stuff. The best you really do get is like the horse racing in, yeah, as it is, I suppose. The inclusion of expanding the mini game, the dice game was quite nice. Maybe would like to have seen something else as well in there around that, but yeah, I can't really fault it. Like the blacksmithing stuff was a good inclusion as well. So I guess maybe there is, what I'm trying to say is there's maybe more space for natural progression if they were to make a Kingdom Come Deliverance 3. But clearly they put a lot of work in. A 9 out of 10 or a 90 out of 100 is a brilliant score. You know, it puts it very much in the top 5% of games that I've got on my big master list. So yeah, I'm not gonna bash it too much at all. I'm just gonna say a couple areas that are there with room for improvement, and that's all. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please let me know if you liked it, and if you are interested as well in playing the first game with all the DLC and stuff. Places like CD Keys are not sponsored by them, but when they have sales and stuff, they very often have the Royal Edition of Kingdom Come Deliverance 1 on sale, so you can pick it up for somewhere around £7 or so. Absolutely brilliantly worth the money for the experience, and don't forget about mods and stuff as well. I guess that's also one of my criticisms is gosh, we're ending on a criticism, that's bad, is the save system. And they've not changed it from the first one, but luckily there are mods that you can get to be able to bypass that. And I would recommend it because I did have some crashes. I have a lot of sympathy for games on this sort of grand, big kind of scale in terms of when they do crash, although that doesn't really bode very well for the hardcore mode, whatever it's called, that they've just released for it. I would not trust that at all, although I suppose it depends when you get to save. Anyway, I don't know. But point is, there are workarounds with these things, and I would recommend that you do use them. I do personally. So, yeah. Anyway, thank you all for watching. I will see you all in the next one. Don't know what it will be, but it might be a while. So, this might be the last time you see me for a bit. Thanks for watching, and bye for now. Sword. Oh, gosh. I've got to say, though, like, it's not a bad looking helmet, to be fair. I didn't have the right attire, though. I don't have any tunics or gambesons or anything, to be honest. Yeah. One day. Goodbye.